never been a year as important as this year that we get the right people in the White House and the right people in both of the Congresses, the Senate and the House of Representatives. We need the right people. Now, the way we're going to get them is we're going to pray. We're going to pray and encourage everyone else to pray. And you're going to hear a lot of things because there's a lot of smut. Oh, how they talk about, wouldn't you hate to be a politician?
Yes.
Huh? I mean, they go into your closet, they dig up anything that you ever did and publish it, don't they? Oh, I'm telling you. We need to pray. And you know, I know they're not perfect. They're not perfect politicians. They do a lot of things wrong, just like you and I have.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
Somebody says, well, they're a lot worse. They're a lot worse. I heard one story about these three guys that went hunting. One was a grocer, one was a banker, one was a politician. And they decided to get together and go hunting. They went out in the woods and they were hunting all day long, and suddenly the sun was setting and they realized they were lost. And they didn't know how to get back, and it was cold and it was getting dark, and they stumbled across this ranch house out there, and they said, well, let's go knock on the door and see if this guy can help us. And so sure enough, the old farmer, the rancher came, and they explained this. He said, we're lost and it's cold and it's dark. And he said, well, I'll tell you what, he says, I can take two in the house, but he says one will have to go out in the barn. And so they said, that's fine, and we'll do that. And so they kind of, well, who's going to go to the barn? And first one that said was a grocer. He says, I'll go to the barn. He says, I don't mind it. Is there some hay out there I can sleep on? Yeah, there's some hay. Go out there and just make yourself, help him out, got it all lined up. And he went out, and the other two stayed in. But about 30 minutes went by, and there was a knock on the door. They opened the door, and there was that grocer. He says, man, he says, I have smelled some bad stuff in my life. But he said, I have never smelled anything like that out there. He said, I don't think I can handle it. I don't think I can. The banker says, it's not a problem. He said, let me go. He said, I'll go out there and I'll stay out there tonight. You two stay in here. So he went out there and started bedding down, and about 30 minutes went by, and there was a knock on the door again. And I opened the door, and there's the banker. He says, man, he says, I thought I could handle it, but he says, I can't. He said, I can't handle the smell and the stink of all of that out there. Politician says, you sissies. You sissies. He says, let me go out there. He says, I can handle it. Well, he went out. And sure enough, in 30 minutes, there's a knock on the door. The farmer opens the door, and there's all the animals.
Oh, yeah.
You get it on the way home. Get it on the way. Pray. Folks, honestly, I want our church to be a church that prays for our country, the United States of America, because it's the last real light that God has in this world. The last one. And I want you to pray for pastors across the nation that are discouraged, that are facing hard times and tough times. Get your